Imagine a light that is neither bright nor dark, but shines brightly enough to exist as a light. However, as time passes, a dark void appears in the middle, growing bigger and bigger, so much so that all the potential of life and soul in the original light is gone. Despite the light on the outside remaining, the darkness trying to take center stage has dampened your overall attitude towards the light as a whole. Perhaps this reminded you of something in your life recently. Captain Marvel is a film. It's not good, nor bad. It's there to exist, to add to the puzzle of what the MCU has been. The paragraph that I just said recently, just then, about the light, reflects Captain Marvel in a way which I think is very important. The light being everything else surrounding Captain Marvel, the plot, the characters, the acting, and then Captain Marvel herself. It's just disappointing to see that after all of these years of the MCU films, the thing that's kept it going is the characters and that people care about them. However, with this film, they give Captain Marvel isn't a character. When I think of her, I don't think of a character, I don't think of a human being. I think of a cocky, sarcastic person, doesn't have any flaws, shoots around with lasers, doesn't really have real motivations, just is there to be cool. This is not something that I think of in an emotional way. It's just, yeah, I'll watch that. It's a Marvel film, a superhero film. It's literally the bare bones of what a superhero film is seen as. Just action, nothing else to it. At its core, this film is, when you look at it on the surface, you enjoy it, but when you look underneath the surface, there's nothing there. Not even a heart. Captain Marvel, or Carol Danvers, doesn't have any growth. She doesn't change. She starts the film as a really strong character who can fight, and ends the film as a extremely strong character who blows up spaceships. She doesn't overcome much. She just stays the same, and I was watching it and I was thinking to myself, why am I enjoying this? This character is boring. There's nothing to her. She keeps on putting plot before character, and it's annoying. And then it's due to the everything else. The supporting cast is brilliant. Samuel L. Jackson is, of course, brilliant. The actor who plays her best friend is brilliant. But she just brings it all down. This film was so close to being on par with Wonder Woman, but it wasn't. It's just really disappointing to know that they've been hyping this up so much, but then what's the hype about? There's nothing there. There's no substance. Most Marvel films have a heart, something that when you think about it, there's an emotional stake. This film has none of that, and it's so infuriating because I don't think of this as emotions. This is so it's far away from what a human should be, as Captain Marvel is. No flaws, no really relatable aspects, and it's worrying because she's meant to be the face of the MCU, as Kevin Feige put it, in the coming future. And I think the Russo brothers really need to change her up, and in the sequels, they need to bring in new directors, new writers, which I'm going to get onto next. The script is like the worst script in an MCU yet. The dialogue is so bad, and everything like that. People have been saying Brie Larson is bad, but she isn't given anything to work with. All she's given is, be sarcastic. They don't tell her, be emotional. That she doesn't have any of those moments. It's always have a smile on your face, say a one-liner, as you fight the best friends that you've had over the past 5 years. Carol Danvers doesn't show any emotions when she should. When her whole life has just been turned around, like it's all been a lie for the past 5 years, it doesn't affect her. She's like, that's sad. Guess I'll go and fight my best friends. There's no threat. Because when she gets so powerful, it's just, oh, she can do anything. There's no threat, and I think they realised this, but they couldn't be bothered to change it. I think I enjoyed the first half of this movie much more. It was good. The story was actually quite interesting. And I thought there was still room for Captain Marvel to actually have a character arc, but I guess I was wrong. But then I think they made the Skrulls the good guys. And so the war between the Kree and the Skrulls was just black and white. The Skrulls were the good guys, the Kree were bad. It's not... I thought they would have been like, oh, it's like grey, there's no black and white. But I guess they had to make it so, oh no, they're sympathetic. Which meant that the overall villain was this Kree and Yon-Rogg, I think that was his name, played by Jude Law, who did well. He did a good, decent performance. But at the end of the day, he doesn't have any motivations other than, I need to fight for the Kree. That's it. And by the end, when Captain Marvel finds him, he doesn't even try to fight. Because he knows that he was going to just basically get killed if he tries to fight. And so it's boring. There's no threat for Captain Marvel to fight. It's just, this is so easy. Which I think is one of the main reasons why it's hard to feel any connection to her, even after the movie, thinking about it. Unlike the first Iron Man, where even in the final fight, after he built a suit, he got both his suit got completely destroyed. And it was very much of a struggle. But with this film, she kind of just flies through everything. Okay, she has full control of her powers now. Another thing I want to talk about is the action, which was absolutely horrendous. I mean, I don't know how Marvel are still doing this badly. Over 10 years after they started, can they not think of a way to film them? I think a lot of it's due to the choreography, which is really bad, and maybe Brie Larson's just not that good at doing it naturally. So there's so many editing and cuts in just a few punches or something. And when they're ice fighting, it's in a dark room so that the audience has no idea what's happening and can't see the bad choreography. And it's just really disorientating. It reminds me of the Batman Begins, when Batman fights the group of criminals and you have no idea what's happening, but you just have to presume something's cool happening. And a lot of the time you can't tell who is actually who. A lot of people have been complaining about how the first act is really bad and slowly badly paced, and that the last act is the one where it gets exciting. I think that's the wrong way around. The last act is the one where I was least interested, because there was no connection for me to even try to be connected. But the first act, I wanted to know who she was, and the action, there was a prolonged action scene, so it was kind of interesting. So I thought I was going to learn about her, but I kept on waiting about Captain Marvel. I kept on waiting, but it never came. The moment where I'm like, oh, this is who she is. This is her flaws. Oh no, you thought she had flaws? Nah. She's perfect. I don't think there's... To be an inspiration for young girls, right? With Wonder Woman, it wasn't because she's a woman she was an inspiration for them. It was because she was a really cool hero. Like the bit where she goes on No Man's Land in Wonder Woman. That was so cool. Not because she's a woman, because it was cool. But in this movie, it's you should aspire to be her because she's a woman, and that, not because of how cool she is. If you get me? It's not very connecting. It doesn't connect with half the audience, which I found to be quite a big problem. In conclusion, overall, the worst thing about this movie is Captain Marvel, which is pretty ironic if you think about it. And they need to fix her character. I don't know if Brie Larson is good because she doesn't get to act. We're told we're told lots of stuff about her, but we're not shown it. well, if we are shown it's like 2 seconds of something, that's not enough. But I enjoyed it. I was watching a movie, but I wasn't feeling the movie. It didn't move me in any way. So if you want to waste 2 hours of just action enjoyment, then yeah, go watch it. But if you're looking for something intellectual to any extent, this movie is not for you. You'll be wondering what you're watching, and the amount of depth in this is terrible. So, I give this movie a 5 out of 5 overall. It was really, really not that good. If when you think about it, it gets worse as you think about it. And the post-credit scene, that was cool. I think a lot of people know this. It was with Captain America, Bruce Banner, and that Black Widow, this should have been her first solo movie, Black Widow, but okay. So that's it.